The coffee spilled across the marble floor the exact moment CEO Harrison Wade realized he had nowhere left to go home to. It was 6:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, and the top floor of Wade Industries was empty except for one man standing at the window, staring at a city full of lights that led to houses full of people who had someone waiting for them. He did not. If you believe kindness deserves a second chance, and that sometimes the richest people are the loneliest, hit that like button, drop a comment below, share this with someone who needs a little hope today, and subscribe to Kindness Vault so you never miss a story that touches your heart. Marcus Bell had worked as a maintenance technician at Wade Industries for almost 3 years. He was the kind of man people barely noticed until something broke, and then suddenly he was the most important person in the building. That evening, he was fixing a flickering light on the executive floor when he heard footsteps behind him. He turned to find the CEO himself standing there, tie loosened, eyes tired in a way that had nothing to do with work. "Do you have somewhere to be?" Harrison asked, almost embarrassed by the question. Marcus smiled, wiping his hands on a rag. "Yes, sir. My daughter is waiting for me. She's probably already burned the rice trying to help with dinner." Harrison let out a short laugh, the first real one in weeks. "That sounds better than anything waiting for me. Big empty house. No noise. No burned rice." He said it lightly, but there was something underneath the words, something hollow. Marcus studied him for a moment. He knew enough about the CEO from company gossip. A divorce 2 years ago. No children. A mother who had passed when he was young. A man who built an empire but somehow forgot to build a life beside it. "You should come by sometime," Marcus said, not really expecting him to take it seriously. "See what a loud, messy house looks like." Harrison chuckled again, softer this time. "Wish I had a happy family like yours." Marcus, without thinking, replied with a grin, "Well, my kid could use a mom. You interested?" It was a joke. A tired, harmless joke between two men who had no idea that life was about to take it seriously. Harrison laughed, shook his head, and walked back to his office, but something about that sentence stayed with him longer than it should have. Marcus had raised his daughter, Aria, alone since she was 4 years old, when her mother left one morning and never came back. No note. No goodbye. Just an empty side of the closet and a little girl asking where her mommy went. Marcus never had a good answer, so instead, he gave her everything else. He learned to braid hair from YouTube videos. He learned to cook simple meals that a picky 7-year-old would eat. He worked long shifts and came home exhausted, but he never let Aria see him break. What Harrison did not know that night was that Marcus went home to more than burned rice. He went home to a daughter who had started asking harder questions. Why don't we have a mom like the other kids? Why does everyone else have 2 people to hug at night? Marcus had no answers that satisfied a child's heart, only quiet reassurances that they were enough for each other. Weeks passed. Harrison found himself lingering near the maintenance department more than a CEO should. He told himself it was about improving employee relations, but really, it was about the warmth Marcus carried with him, the kind of light that came from a man who had nothing extra but gave everything anyway. One afternoon, Harrison worked up the courage to actually visit. He told his driver to take him to the address Marcus mentioned once in passing. When he knocked on the door, it was Aria who answered, wearing a paper crown from a birthday party days earlier, refusing to take it off. "Are you the sad man from Daddy's work?" she asked bluntly, the way only children can. Harrison blinked, caught off guard. "I suppose I am." "You don't look sad now," she said, tilting her head. "You're smiling." That evening changed something in him. The apartment was small, walls covered in Aria's drawings, the smell of spices in the air, laughter bouncing off thin walls. It was chaotic and loud and imperfect, and it was the most alive Harrison had felt in years. Marcus welcomed him without pretense, without trying to impress him, because that was never the point. Somewhere between dinner and Aria's insistence that Harrison read her a bedtime story, something shifted quietly and permanently. Harrison began visiting more often. Not out of obligation, not out of guilt, but because for the first time since his mother passed, he felt like he belonged somewhere. He learned Aria's favorite cartoons. He learned Marcus's habit of humming old songs while cooking. He learned what it meant to sit on a worn-out couch and feel more at peace than he ever had in his glass office overlooking the entire city. But not everything was easy. Harrison struggled with feeling like an outsider intruding on something sacred between a father and daughter. There were nights he doubted whether he deserved a place in their world, whether his presence was fair to a little girl who had already lost one parent. Marcus, too, wrestled with fear, afraid of opening his daughter's heart to someone who might disappear the way her mother did. The turning point came on a rainy afternoon when Aria fell sick with a high fever. Marcus was stuck in a shift he could not leave, panicking, calling everyone he knew. Harrison, without hesitation, left a board meeting mid-sentence and rushed to the apartment. He sat beside Aria's bed for hours, pressing cool cloths to her forehead, reading her stories in a voice cracking with worry, praying in a way he had not prayed since childhood. When Marcus finally arrived, he found Harrison asleep in the chair, Aria's small hand still holding his. That was the moment Marcus realized this was not just kindness. It was love, quiet and steady, showing up when it mattered most. Months later, at Aria's 8th birthday party, she stood in front of a small cake, wearing that same worn paper crown, and asked Harrison a question that silenced the room. "Can you be my mom and dad's friend forever? Like, forever?" Harrison knelt down, eyes glistening, and promised her he would try his best to stay forever. Marcus, watching from the side, felt tears he did not bother hiding. If this story touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who believes in second chances, and subscribe to Kindness Vault so more stories like this can find their way to you. And if you made it this far, drop a comment below telling us where you're watching from. We read every single one. Harrison never officially became anyone's husband or father through paperwork, but every single day, in every small ordinary moment, he became family. Sometimes the family we are searching for is not the one we are born into, but the one we choose to show up for, again and again, especially on the days it would be easier not to.